In about 1976 or 77, I got a train set. It was the Hornby CIE supertrain. It had a hymek and 4 wagons, battery controller and a carport tunnel. And this is them here. That's not my one from the 1970s. These are the ones I bought about 7 or 8 years ago. It came with the brake van. Fairly generic. Prime fork van, which was popular in the 70s. The Kellogg's van, which used the same chassis as the Shell tanker. This one here. And the Hornby hymek in orange and black in supertrain livery, which was supposed to look like the Irish C-class locomotive, the Metro Vic here pictured, which it doesn't look anything like at all. Even when I was 7 years of age, I realised that the train didn't look right from the train set. It was only about 40 years later that I realised what it was. So, more than 40 years later, I have decided that I'm going to replicate the train set in O gauge. Just because I've nothing better to do. Still haven't built a model railway yet, so this is keeping me busy. So I bought 2 of these big hymeks. I paid about €60 for the 2 of them. And the plan was to restore them and have them run around an oval of track in my living room. But seemingly the flanges are too deep and you can't run them on modern track. So I just decided that I would buy a heljan hymek and do that, but I would practice my painting, which I've never done with an airbrush. I bought an airbrush specifically for this task and try and make my own version of the CIE hymek in O gauge. So I got 2 boxes of bits, and one of the locomotives wasn't in great shape, the other one was a little bit better. So I cobbled the 2 of them together, make one decent one. These I think were built in about the late 1960s, into about 71 or 72. The hymek from Hornby, the R768, which is an uncatalogued model. Came out in about 1968 as well, and they stopped making it in about 78, 79 I think. I could be wrong, but I think the CIE version only came out for 1 year. It came out in the Sláinte Express set and also came out in the mixed freight set, but there was 2 train sets that came in. I decided to take the blue floor and scrape that off the side to make it a little bit more realistic looking than a child's toy, even though it still is just a big plastic child's toy. And decided to have a go and film and sand in the nest that I made, which I got bored of quite quickly, so I didn't finish it off properly at all. The plan is to buy a heljan hymek from the UK, try and get one second hand. They're usually about €700 and paint it, but I decided I'd give practice paint on this one first. So I just filled in the screw holes. I wasn't going to reuse this for anything else other than this project, and if it got ruined it didn't matter, it was cheap. I'm not going to have much of a problem replicating the hymek. It's just a matter of buying the heljan one, taking the body off and repainting it. The Shell tanker it's more or less easily bought. Same with a 12-ton wagon, Slater's one. And I can repaint that green for the prime pork and have a go make my own decals. The only problem I'm going to have is that the Kellogg's Cornflakes van is non-standard. The non-standard chassis, and the body is just completely fictitious. So I have bought myself a Bamboo Lab A1 printer. I'm going to see, can I print out something using Tinkercad and Bamboo software. I started airbrushing this using a Vallejo grey flat primer, which in hindsight wasn't the best thing to do. It's partly dark. The video is white, caught under the orange. This is the first time I'd ever used an airbrush as well. So I got blocked on me twice. I had to disassemble it, clean it out. Didn't know how to do that, so I had to go onto YouTube and watch some videos. Never realised how long airbrushing things would take. Just sitting around waiting for coats of paint to dry and then cleaning out the airbrush and then waiting and going again. And this is me just messing, getting the last of the paint out of the airbrush cup before cleaning it. Took a while, but I sort of was getting the hang of the airbrush. I bought a second one. I bought a gallery airbrush from Amazon. I think it cost about €50 postage. This is the old gauge van, just using up the last of the paint on the roof of it. This is it masked up. I don't know whether I filmed it or not. I don't think I did. This is me doing the black stripe, and I didn't have the correct paint. I used a Vallejo Model Air Black Brown, which is not black. And so when it dried, it just didn't look black enough. It had a sort of a quite dusty texture to it, but that could have been just the way I was airbrushing it. So this me just masking off the black stripe. In hindsight, it probably should have been just easier just to paint the whole locomotive in orange and then paint the black in afterwards over the top. It's a lesson learned for when I'm doing the next one. Yeah, that was just me with my respirator. First couple of times I didn't use it and I was coughing and spluttering afterwards. This is the Vallejo orange. It's the Model Air. I don't think it's the exact correct shade of orange for the CIA, but it was close enough. think I was using about 25 psi, and I'm using a 0.5 nozzle in the airbrush. It was at this stage that I realised that it was actually starting to look a little bit darker than what I wanted. I asked a friend, an artist friend of mine, should I just put a bit of white into the orange, and he said no, to reprime the whole model and white and start again, which is what I have to do next. Getting the white back onto it again, and then I'm going to throw another coat of orange. This is craft primer that I used Vallejo thinner on, just to give it a bit of a dusting. And then started back over with the orange again, and it immediately looked a lot lighter. This hymek has no interior cab and no windows, so I didn't have to mask up around the cab area. When I do an actual proper model, I suppose I'll have to take the glazing out and the handrails and bits and pieces. But this was looking a lot better second time round. this in my paint box. So when I thinned it down to do the black stripe and the black on the roof. Just masked up the orange not to get the black overspray. And I decided not to airbrush the bogies, just paint them in and around the windows. In all fairness, it wasn't really about getting the bogies or getting the bottom frame detail perfect. It was to try and get the striping done around the top and the front to see could I do it on a decent locomotive body. And the whole plan is to replicate the train set and to put an oval of oak edge track on the living room floor like I would have done as a kid. Oak edge track is very expensive, and I'm thinking I'm looking at over €200 just for an oval track. And I'm probably only going to run it around the living room once for a YouTube video, because I think the track will be about 5 foot wide and about 7 foot long, maybe longer. So I'll have to go down on the wooden floor in front of the fireplace. Still think my biggest problem is going to be trying to 3D print the Kellogg's van. The Kellogg's van, it's a non-standard vehicle. I haven't been able to find anything on Thingiverse that would replicate it. So I'm going to have a go on Tinkercad and try and design it myself. If not, maybe get a fish van or something and see can I do it that way. But I think I might have to 3D print everything myself, which I don't know how to do because the 3D printer's been sitting in the box since last October. It's now May. So that's another new skill I'm going to have to try and learn. That and Tinkercad or Fusion 360, both of them on the laptop. And this is me just finishing off. There are sort of triangles coming up to the horns from the top of the cab. And wasn't too bad. Not perfect. This is just using Vallejo gloss varnish. Just thinned down once again with Vallejo thinners. Sort of a 50-50 mix, just to seal everything in. Probably should have went over this a few times with the gloss. I don't think it's as shiny as it should be, not compared to the plastic on the actual Hornby model. Someone did say to me on the IRM forums that they had done the same thing many years ago. Don't think they posted any pictures of it though. There are no ready-to-run diesels for an Irish modern no gauge. There are some brass kits of steam locomotives, and there are guys that are building modern diesels in brass from scratch. Some guys do it from styrene, it's way above what I could do. And this is the end of it. So I went from this piece of crap to this, the finished article. I was quite happy with how it came out in the end, really, for my first attempt at painting anything with an airbrush. And for me, it just reminds me of the train that I had as a child in the 70s. The O gauge is considerably bigger than the double O. It's a very interesting scale. Don't have the space for either. Don't even have a model railway yet. I think we'll be doing a micro layout and O gauge shortly. Wait and see. Anyway, next time I'm going to take this Slater's van kit that I bought from eBay, and I'm going to have a go at replicating the Prime Park van. I've bought decal paper. I'm going to see, can I print out my own decals for the side of it. It's basically just a green and a white van. I'm not going to do anything else to it, I don't think, and see how it comes out. Might be a disaster, they usually are. Thanks for watching anyway, if you've lasted this far. And I'll see you on the next video. Please like and subscribe.